Yo, Wes, it's a state of play, January 31st, 2024, without Parole live stream. I'm treating this just like a Gamescast Live because it's a Wednesday, and we're going to do this Gamescast Live style. So, isn't this a nice, beautiful thumbnail? Isn't it?
It is indeed. It is a lovely West Day, and I'm pretty pumped, dude. I'm excited for this. For the first time in like 6 months, I'm excited for something, Brian. It's pretty cool.
Wow. First time in 6 months. I'm going to do my best not to let you down, and then after I hand it off to Sony, it's on them, man. Like it's nothing I can do.
It's all on them, and it's always been on them, and it remains to be on them.
All right,
but no, I have a good feeling about this.
Good. Well, then let's start the show, man. Let's not make these cats wait any longer.
Indeed, let's go.
This is PSVR Gamescast Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and 2 Eyes Friday right here on YouTube. We do it live 6 p.m. Eastern on Without Parole. That's a YouTube channel that you're currently on. We do it live 6 p.m. for your viewing pleasure, but don't forget, we care about your oral pleasure almost as much. Almost as much. So that's why this thing gets uploaded to podcast services of your choice. My name is Brian Paul from this channel right here, PSVR Without Parole. And this gentleman over here to my right, also your right, it's Wes Dillon from Virtual Strangers. Hi, Wes.
What's up, man? For some reason, it feels like New Year's Day today. It's like I know it hasn't been that long since we did one of these, but it feels like it's been a while since we did one of these.
Yeah, I think it's been a little while, and I do feel like I was completely off my game the last time we did one. So I was been kind of like itching to get back to do one of these with you, and just kind of get back on schedule and do something normal. And so Sony threw us a curveball today and said, "Don't worry, guys. Today will be anything but normal. You will not have a chance to do your regular show because we're going to throw a state of play right in the midst of it, dude. State of play, dude. What are we expecting today, man? Like, I mean, sure, we could go speculation all day long. We could do our hopes and dreams, but I mean, are we going to sit here and be realistic and say, like, are we keeping our expectations low? Just tell me, where's your head at, Wes? Because I've got a lot of feelings about this, and I want to know where you're at.
All right, so this is where I'm at. Now, I'd love to sit here and just speculate my heart away and talk about these same Half-Life Alyx and everything else that we always talk about. We could have 3 realistic predictions and 3 off-the-wall predictions, but the truth of the matter is I'm slightly above average in terms of my expectations for this. The fact that the slate is wiped clean and that we don't know anything that's coming right now says to me that something will be here today. And I don't think it'll just be one game. This is a 40-minute state of play, which is almost twice as long as a normal state of play. They've advertised VR for it. I think we're going to get a few titles here today. They might not all be bangers, but we'll probably have at least 1 or 2 bangers in there.
All right, then let me rephrase the question then, because I think we could have a bunch of titles for sure. I think we could have 2, 3. I think 3 might be pushing it. But new titles is the question, I think, because I feel like enough people are interested in things like Phasmophobia, and that's where they sort of went radio silent on what a release date for that could be. I think we're all interested in Aces of Thunder, which sounds like it might have been funded by Sony. Like, that's a big question mark. Like, how did that game from Gaijin Entertainment even come into existence? And so if it's being Sony funded, you would think that naturally on it being on a state of play would be the next time we see it, or we get a release date for it or something like that. So it could be completely possible that we just see a bunch of games that we've already heard about and be like, here you go, here's a little update on each of these games that you do already know about. Like, because the slate's not totally wiped clean.
I mean, that's true. I mean, there's always those, you got your dead hooks and your genotypes out there floating around that we know are coming, which, by the way, people should be relatively excited for. Those are some solid titles. But you're right. I think we'll probably see. I think this is going to be something akin to the state of play we got around this time last year, which had it had Synapse, it had Journey to Foundation, it was like 3, 4, 5 titles.
That's right.
And it was a pretty good one. It was a pretty good one. We were still disappointed walking out of it. Like when I say we, I mean the community as a whole. Because let's be honest, nobody's ever quite happy with it, no matter how good it is. But I think it'll be something on that. We'll get a mid-major or two, and then probably a few smaller indies in there. I don't think that we'll see any big first-party announcements today, but you never know. You never know. It might be. It's a new year, Brian. They could surprise us with something here.
Skydiving Pilot with $5 tip says prediction number 1. New PSVR 2 tracked dual sense controller bundled with Astrobot 2, which is like fucking so bonkers. I don't even know where to start with that. I'm going to give that a 0 out of 10 in the probability scale. Also, prediction number 2, Crazy Taxi VR, which I also don't think is happening, but I would give probably 1, possibly 2 of my testicles for that to happen.
I'm going to predict that we see something about Spider-Man. We'll probably see something about Final Fantasy. We'll probably see 4 or 5 hack and slash titles that have anime art styles and cool soundtrack. And then maybe, what was that one we saw last time about the guy that was like a baby? What was that one called? Do you remember that one?
Oh, God.
The guy was stumbling around trying to walk.
They started the state of play with that, right? Wasn't that like the very first thing they showed? I was like, we are in for trouble.
Yeah.
It
was bad.
Chrome Colossus with the $2 tip says, I'm hyped for the friends we made along the way. Slapping that ass with the $10 tip just sends a little thank you emoji. Thank you guys for being here. This is really cool. Izzard in the chat says, nothing but Ghostbusters. Wes, how thankful were you? Because we had known that there was a Ghostbusters announcement coming today. How thankful were you when you saw that it happened outside of the state of play, that wasn't one of our very few PSVR 2 pieces on the state of play?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I've been so out of the loop that 1, I did not know that there was a Ghostbusters announcement coming today. And 2, I still didn't know that there was a Ghostbusters announcement today until you just now said it. So they finally must have revealed that other new gameplay mode or when it's coming or something like that.
Slimer's Ghost Hunt or something. Like, I really
there you go. Yeah.
I mean, it was sort of one of the last big hopes I had for Ghostbusters. Like, they're talking about like these modes that'll be playing into the new movie that's coming out, that are these first person things that are a little on the scarier side. And I'm just like, I don't see it. I don't see it. I think that game is a lost cause at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hate it to begin with. So more is better. And that is one of the things I thought it really lacked in, is that it was not the least bit spooky or scary. So if they're aware of that and making moves to try to remedy it, I welcome it. It is in Dreams. They're a very capable studio. Maybe they can fix it.
They're a very capable studio. I do think they stumbled this time, but yep. Maybe they can fix it. Man, Bear, Pig, Game, Cat with the $2 tip says 1 or 2 big IPs, 3 indies, 2 ports, and a few updates.
Damn, son.
It's a loaded prediction schedule. I'm thinking 3 games total. I think we get 3 PSVR 2 games total, and for a 40-minute showcase, that's not going to feel like a lot, no matter how good the announcements are. Like, by the end, I'm going to be so drained and be like, "That's it, man." I think they're going to front load it with PSVR 2 stuff. They might as well say, "Hey guys, you can go now," right? Because I'm finding it so hard to care about flat screen stuff the further we get into the life of VR. Like, I desperately want a flat screen game to pull me back out and say, no, this is something that you really want to play. But I haven't seen anything like that. Especially since my Quest 3 showed up today, Wes. And so now I have more VR than I ever had before.
Nice. Have you played with it yet?
Yeah, I put a little bit of Asgard's Wrath too, and it was it was nice. It was very nice. I think people,
Not bad for standalone, eh?
not bad for standalone, not bad for not standalone. Like it's, a lot of detail and, like it's obviously a very big game. Very cinematic already right off the bat. And I mean, just crystal clear. Those pancake lenses are very nice. So I think giving PSVR 2 a nice little run for its money, and it's exactly what we were hoping for.
Indeed.
We've got Friends Have Xbox with a Canadian 279. Says, remember guys, expect the best scenarios possible. I'd like to expect the worst and then come away much happier, right?
Yeah.
Belramio, the Game Cat with the €6 says, it would be good if we get something, just one decent game, and I am happy. If not, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth demo, at least, probably.
Well, let's be honest.
Yeah.
If the leak from last week is the only thing that we see today, that's a big W. Like if that's true, then that's a pretty big W for us. And anything else is just icing on the cake. And for what it's worth, I think the leak probably is true. So looking forward to it.
And of course, the leak that we're talking about is Metro Awakenings VR.
That's right.
Yeah. Let's pretend that's true, Wes. Pretend this is the big game. Pretend this is the thing we're about to see, which I think I'm with you. I think it's very likely. All the leaks sort of pointed to this. And as we talked about prior, Paradox of Hope getting pulled from the store, Embracer Group owning the license and having Vertigo under their belt. All the signs point to this. Let's pretend this is true. What do you expect, man? Like, do you expect this to be a multi-platform game that like Sony's just sort of getting to announce? Do you think it's an exclusive? Where do you think they're going to go with this?
I think it's going to be a multi-platform game that Sony's getting to announce. I mean, 2 years ago, it was Meta during the Meta showcase that they announced that Vertigo had signed on to produce 4 more games for the Quest library. And we've got 3 of those 4. There's still 1 remaining. And I think Metro's probably going to be it. But I think it's going to be good. I think the type of game that is, I think Vertigo's well suited to produce a game like that. So, yeah, I think it's cool. I think it'll be a multi-plat, and I'm okay with that. As long as it isn't one of these things that's developed for Quest first, and then everything else they're just kind of trying to augment it for. I like it when it's the other way, where they, like Arizona Sunshine, where they develop it for PC or console first, and then kind of retrofit it to standalone. Mm-hmm. I think that's a good situation and scenario, and that's what I expect.
Nice. Yeah, I don't want to shit on Vertigo too much. I think I did that a little bit on Monday's show. I think everyone knows where I stand on this. I think they're a competent studio. I just think that they haven't really shown us, like, I know that they want to make a AAA title, and I feel like if this is the AAA title that they're working on, then like all the power to them, man. Like I really hope that they've got what it takes to pull it off. But so far, I just feel like they haven't quite gotten there. So this could be the first, this could be their first big, as far as I'm concerned, first big breakthrough title. Not like they haven't made good games before. I think everyone agrees that the Seventh Guest was really good. Zombie shooters, they've done 2 amazing zombie shooters. As far as you're concerned, probably 3 amazing zombie shooters. So,
well,
yeah.
Well, I was a fan of After the Fall, but I don't hold it on the level of Arizona Sunshine. Arizona Sunshine 2 is a much better game in my opinion, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Their PSVR versions have not always been as good as they could be, especially at launch. But the game in general, the games in general have typically been pretty good on PC. So hopefully they're getting better optimizing. I'll just say that.
Let's see what else we got here. We got D-Ray 86 with the $10 tip says, glad I get to watch you guys live for once. Well, you can thank Sony for that because they made us go live early. And maybe you'll be able to watch us live again next week. Kill Artist 1, the Dreamweaver Game Cat, with the $5 tip. It says, taking a break from my artwork to hang out with the awesome Game Cats. Excuse me, I've been drinking Diet Coke and it really made me have to burp. Hyped to hopefully see something new and awesome on PSVR 2. Wanderer release date. We haven't heard from Muddy Eyes in a little bit. It could be time for them to start talking about Fragments of Fate. I believe the last we heard from them was early 2024?
It's been a while, and it was almost like their hand was forced even then because of the leak that we got early last year.
Is it the German PlayStation blog?
Yeah, right. Or was it the German? Was it the blog? I was thinking it was like Twitter, like the German Twitter or something like that. They put it. I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a long time, Brian.
Well, they also that same account leaked Solaris Off-World Combat 2, and I think we can all agree that is no longer happening.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Unfortunately,
it is unfortunate because everything I heard about Solaris Off-World Combat 2 sounded awesome. Maybe we can get Hess Barber on here or something, and he can spill the beans and talk about what it would have been. I don't think it's my place to discuss that. Who else we got here? We got the Game Cat, Andrew Aaron Reich, with the $2 tip, says State of Play and a West Day. Let's go. Let's go indeed.
Word. Let's go.
Kava 04 now with the 12 plantains. Just gives us a couple of eyes. I'll give you a couple of eyes right back. I don't know how you do that. Grandpa's Barbecue or Game Cat with the Australian $5 tip. It says Golf Plus VR announced. Golf Plus VR announced in my joke one. Sony come to senses and announce PSVR 2 getting PC compatibility.
Ooh, that'd be a pretty big announcement for a State of Play.
That'd be huge. I'd be down with it, obviously. Although I want to send my Quest back, I think. Not that I don't like my Quest. It's just, the convenience of having one headset that pop back and forth. I now get it. And we also have Fluke. Oh, we got a couple more tips. Jesus. Fluke, the Swedish Game Cat with the 50 Sekiros, says, boring prediction maybe, but I predict some PSVR 2 games already outed and one new title, perhaps a first-party one if we're lucky. What's the over-under on a first-party title, Wes? Do you think a State of Play is too small for a first-party Sony title to be announced for PSVR 2? Or do you think because PlayStation VR 2 is a smaller market, that this is the perfect place for that?
Yeah, I think if there's one close to being announced, that this would be where they would do it at. I don't think that they're going to turn around anytime soon and do another PlayStation showcase. And I don't think that they would announce a major first party title on the PlayStation blog. So if they were going to announce it somewhere, it would probably be here. If we're going to get one, say before, the games, the Summer Games Fest window, the E3 window where all the big stuff starts getting announced, today would probably be it, I would imagine.
JPEG Q with the level 1 membership says, cool, Brian, you got a Quest 3. What made you decide? I just always like having another headset. I owned a Quest 1 and got rid of that for a Quest 2. And I got rid of my Quest 2 a couple months ago, so it's time to get a Quest 3. I think a lot of people think that I'm, very super isolated in my ecosystem. And to a degree, that's true because I'm constantly reviewing PSVR 2 games. But I do like to occasionally, peek through the curtains and see what's outside.
Nothing wrong with that.
And then we got Violator, the Game Cat Metal Messiah, which is fucking metal as fuck. $10 tips is Half-Life, BioShock, and Metal Gear, all available today. And we're moving on because I don't want to get anyone hopes and dreams up. That's painful, man. Don't tease me with this BioShock stuff. And then
what else hasn't been said yet, Brian? Killzone, we need to say that one.
Resident Evil 2 remake.
Twisted Metal, Wipeout.
Yep.
Astrobot. Well, I think we already mentioned Astrobot though.
Every Insomniac VR game ever made.
Yeah, and shit, never mind.
Okay. Dutch DJ, the state of play game cat, with the 11 euro says, no matter what they show off, I'm happy we can watch it together. Thank you all. Yeah, thank you guys
Indeed.
so much. This is really nice. Almost 700 viewers right now, which, normal Gamescast is around 400 or so. So this is obviously a pretty exciting event. I'm glad everyone can be here and we can watch this together. Wes, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not even remotely excited for this thing. And so being here and hearing everyone's ridiculous predictions and, seeing how the community is so excited and getting to hang out with you, this is what's making it for me. Like I probably wouldn't have even gotten out of bed for something like this. But the fact that we're all here and watching it together is pretty fucking killer.
So Gabriel 004 in the chat, thank you for telling me what I was trying to think of a minute ago. Infamous, that's the one.
Nice. Bonjour Miller with the $5 tip says, number 1, he's got a list. Metal Gear Solid 3 VR mode. Yeah, I mean, they're remaking that, right? Snake Eater? Fucking sounds great. 2, old and new game hybrid in the same series, a la Resident Evil 8 and Resident Evil 4. 2B, Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy Rebirth 3. This is getting crazy. First party VR game. And then number 4, Behemoth. And number 5, short sizzle reel. Ooh, I didn't even think about that. Like, how could they just be like, hey, 2024 is just getting started. Let's take a look at what's coming up for PSVR 2. And just like boom, 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 boom. They show like 15 games and like 5 of them we never heard of before.
I think that would be the best thing that they could do. The best possible thing that they could do is just give us a sizzle reel of what's coming this year. Like, that would be amazing. Although I do like what El Zanta suggests here, that the new Silent Hill game is going to be shown with VR support. That would be pretty awesome too.
That would be pretty awesome. I feel like this is Silent Hill 2, right? The Silent Hill 2 remake, is that what you're talking about?
That's right. Yeah,
dude,
from Bloober Team.
They've announced that so long ago, and I feel like they covered it so long ago. Like, I'm just kind of like weirded out that it's not already out. Like, I feel like they just announced it too early or something.
Well, they just launched the Layers of Fear remake this past year, so they were working on 2 big titles. They got that one shipped, and now it's time for Silent Hill.
All right, we got Greg Karras with the Canadian $10 tip. Says, I predict we will only get updates on games we already know about and maybe some release dates. Also, none of the release dates will be accurate due to delays. I hope I'm wrong. I think you're probably onto something there. If we get any release dates, don't count on them being accurate. Wes, I'm going to go over to the full screen here.
Oh, crap. I should probably bring that up in my browser.
Yeah, for sure. Mine is saying premieres in 60 seconds.
Better be quick then, huh? All right, PlayStation official, where are you? State of play. Premiere will begin shortly, it says. It's not even giving me like how many seconds.
All right, I'm a little concerned that I got to refresh this. Oops.
Do you have any idea what Stellar Blade and Rise of the Ronin even are?
No, and I should. I mean, right, these are like supposedly big games, big enough to be, showcased here and have a heavy focus on. I'm guessing you are in the same boat as me.
Yeah, I have no idea what this stuff is. No clue.
All right.
But I bet you that Stellar Blade is one of those games I just spoke about. That's a hack and slash game with giant swords and anime style artwork. That sounds like a Stellar Blades. That's exactly what it sounds like. All right, we've got 143, 142, 141, 140.
Yeah, I think you're like 2 seconds behind me at best, or at worst. Turn this down a little bit while we wait. Dead Ringer, the Game Cat, Sleestack, the $2 tip says, I'd be happy if even one of our guesses happens. That's true. Take what we can get here. PZ with the $5 tip says, praying Team Asobi will reveal a Mario Kart or Mario Party-like game. I just want to have some co-op fun like the good old days. Thank you for the coverage. Salvador with the level 3 membership says 700 plus watching, hit that like button. Miles Dyer with the level 2 membership says ended my live show so I could join this amazing community for what should be state of play. Dude, I am so down for Astro Kart.
Oh yeah, dude. What a no-brainer that would be, huh?
Absolutely. Astro
and talk
Kart.
about like a ready-made hybrid game. Like that's a game that could be 1-to-1 on flat and VR.
Yep.
You know, it would be perfect and easy to do.
24 seconds.
I think we're pretty close. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Who else we got? We got Truth Hurts Mutant Ninja Game Cat says all with the $5 tip says all first-person games Sony owns have PSVR 2 support. Don't tease us like that. That'd be great. Here we go, Wes. Let's do this.
Reading pending hype.
I bet we're starting off with PSVR 2. I bet we're starting off right away.
It would be smart of them to do. Helldivers.
Yeah, I should have guessed. They love Helldivers.
Hi everyone, I'm Herman Hulst, head of PlayStation Studios, and I'm honored to present the first State of Play of 2024. The first 3 years of PS5 have given us incredible stories, immersive worlds and groundbreaking gameplay from PlayStation Studios and their partners. We've also expanded PlayStation Plus with new features including PS5 game streaming. And with PSVR 2 and PlayStation Portal, which released last November, we're committed to offering new and surprising ways for our audience to interact with their PS5. But none of this means anything without great games, like Helldivers 2, which kicks off a year of amazing experiences and diverse ways to play. Today, we're looking ahead to titles coming later this year and beyond, with extended gameplay and announcements we hope you find as exciting as we do here at PlayStation. Enjoy the show.
That bodes well.
Yeah. Just even mentioning it.
Well, they said this year and beyond.
Welcome to the world of Stellar Blade. The story begins on post-apocalyptic Earth, where a mysterious enemy called the Naytiba has forced the human
if you were wondering what Stellar Blade was, I guess we're about to find out.
Players will take control of Eve, a member of the 7th Airborne Squad. Her mission is to save the planet by defeating the Elder Natiba.
Look, it's a hack and slash game.
All we must do is complete the mission.
While most of the 7th Airborne Squad is lost during their descent from the colony, Eve soon meets 2 new companions. Adam, born on Earth, is in pursuit of an energy source called hypercell.
Make sure to stay cautious. It's where the Alpha Natiba is.
So this must be 8 or 7.
Lily, a member of the 5th Airborne Squad, provides engineering support.
Lily Artemis II. Then I can be your engineering support.
She puts her technical knowledge to use by upgrading Eve's equipment throughout the game.
Here, done.
Something does feel different.
This is Zion, a city built underneath the wasteland by the last human survivors on Earth.
A whole city underneath the wasteland.
Eve is called Angel by the survivors and is an object of both awe and fear.
I'm not selling anything to you.
They'll seem a bit wary at first, but will gradually loosen up as Eve shows a commitment to rebuilding the city.
Hello, Angel. How are you?
I see we have guests.
I can't believe the angel is here.
The survivors will sometimes ask Eve for help.
Please save my younger sister!
Wait right here.
Their requests will often lead her to the wasteland and the Great Desert. This place has been overrun by Natibas and malfunctioning machines and robots.
A supply camp in a place like this.
You'll occasionally find supply stations set up by previous airborne squads. At each camp, Eve can purchase various consumable items, acquire new skills, upgrade equipment, and more. She can also take a well-deserved break to restore her health. Eve will often encounter people in need and other non-human beings who may need her help.
Request your assistance.
Whether to assist or ignore them is entirely up to the player. On her journey to defeat the Elder Natiba, Eve will sometimes encounter hostile survivors. Or something worse.
Eve.
I'm glad we're getting one of these deep dives out of the way, like early on.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a decent game, but
You mean the extinction of all
not VR.
Natives, right? To think that the point of your existence is to snuff out another species. It is not an easy
I think
fight.
the environments
It's
look cool.
fine. I can
The
do
enemies
this
look
alone.
cool.
It won't be easy.
I like their pants.
Angel. That's the unofficial name for members of the Eve Airborne Squad.
I can feel the hatred, but I cannot feel the source.
I will find it, and I will make it pay.
Opening. It's windy.
No more light to blind my eyes. Choose what you lose.
To collapse.
And now take up the
The drone is different.
This is no longer the drone you knew.
so close to the goal, headed to life that I will hold. Now it's time together what's lost.
Right before the show started, Macho, the real estate procrastinating game cap with $2 tip said, "Let's go, guys. This is going to be the state of play." Just out of curiosity, are you still feeling that way, 9 minutes in? Or you can still change your mind. Still got 30 minutes left in the show.
It is the state of play.
It's
the
the
one
state
that
of
they
play. It's the only one happening today.
안녕하세요. 십텁의 대표이자 게임의 디렉터인 김영태입니다. 이 게임은 우리가 수년간 유저 여러분들께 선보이기 위해 꿈꿔왔던 게임이며 플레이스테이션 5 그리고 플레이스테이션 스튜디오의 전폭적인 지원 덕분에 그 꿈을 현실화할 수 있게 되었습니다. 기나긴 여정이었고 빨리 팬분들이 4월 26일 스텔라 블레이드를 만나보시기를 기대합니다.
Sonic Generations was one of the mini games that was leaked for this thing, and so this is making it look like the leaks were accurate. Wes.
Yeah. Yeah, they came from supposedly reliable sources, so no shock. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't think this needed a remaster, but then I realized, like, oh, shit, this was like the PS3 generation. Like, those games aren't just sitting around to be played on PS5.
Right.
Even the studio name is ZZZ. Foam stars.
Here we go, baby.
Bro, if this is the song I get a copyright claim for, I'm going to be so upset. Like, if this is the one. Like, I get it, man. I get it. Like, Foam Stars isn't designed for me, right? Like, that's fine. But, like, what happened to the Squaresoft that I loved? Man, PS1, PS2 era, just churning out all these games that I fucking loved. Missed those guys.
Dave the Diver.
I've heard great things about Dave the Diver.
Gojira! Hell yeah. Pretty cool one, actually.
Yeah.
I like these isometric top-down games. I think they're cool. I think we need more games like this in VR.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I was actually playing Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, like the original one on PS2 recently. And I played Diablo 3. Really enjoy style of games. Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Sean Benson. This next game is a result of a very close partnership with Konami and marks the return of a horror franchise that has been with us since the original PlayStation.
Here we go.
Let's take
baby.
a look at what's next for Silent Hill.
Wow. Wow.
Maybe I can be like her. Bad things happen because of you! Here goes. Is this a dream?
There's lots of first-person shit being shown off here.
there?
Just saying.
I don't think this is Silent Hill 2. This is that weird one that they revealed.
Cherry blossoms
Right.
bloom within the grasp of death. What are you hiding inside? Maya? What the fuck? I'm sorry. Stop! Please!
Man, this is fucking cool.
This looks insanely cool. And if this isn't VR, I'm just gonna fucking quit right now. What?
Free to play. What the hell?
Like, what? Why?
こんにちは。
There-
サイレントヒルシリーズのプロデューサーを務める岡本元井です。ご覧いただいたのはサイレントヒルザ・ショートメッセージという全く新しいサイレントヒルとなります。本作は本日この後プレイステーション5で無料配信いたします。コナミが送る現代を舞台にしたサイコロジカルホラーをぜひ体験してください。それでは最後にこちらの映像をご覧ください。
This is 2, right? Yeah, this is 2.
Yeah.
Wow, looks good.
Yeah.
Still no release date? Fuck it, that's okay. Here's Judas. I'm okay. Here's Judas.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Say hi back. Of course they know.
What if I told you that every word you say is being recorded? Every thought you've ever had? Your love. Your fear. Your hate. Were just planted in your brain like weeds in a garden. What would you do to free yourself? We both know the answer to that question. Nothing. You are the frog in a pot, boiling so slowly. You don't even know what's happening. But I'm here to set you free. Whether you like it or not.
This is gonna make it feel real again.
You mean on PC with the Unreal Injector?
That's exactly what I mean. Which I don't know if it's Unreal or not, but
right, dude, these games look so perfect for VR. It's driving me insane that they're not. Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Here's Vertigo.
Stare into the flame. Think of this fire as a beacon. Its warmth, its energy. Now, focus your mind on your wife and step into the void.
Wes, it looks really good.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Yep.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm sitting here thinking Paradox of Hope, which they shut down, couldn't even hold a candle to this. Like, why did they even bother?
Yep. Well, the leaks even nailed the title, man.
Yep. Coming this year.
Yep. Hey, I hope we see more. I hope we see more games, but that is a really good one. Oh, this has to be.
Here we go.
What the fuck is
Here's
this?
another one. So is it Undead Citadel? It's not Undead Citadel.
Not Undead Citadel. It's nothing I've seen before. I don't think.
This is I know what this is. This
isn't Dungeons, is it?
No, this is that game just hit Quest. It's on PC. Maybe. It looks similar to a game that I played recently. Online multiplayer, no. Well, maybe not. This is something else. Yeah, this is something new, I think.
Legendary Tales.
Oh, no, it's not. This is Legendary Tales. Holy shit. That's coming out next week? Those bastards.
Amazing. It looks
great.
It's
been so quiet for so long. It is. It's really good.
I knew you would come, Arisen One.
They've been playing like... They've been acting like that they haven't been busy with anything. Like,
dragon will appear before you when the time is come.
That's pretty awesome, man. Legendary Tales on PlayStation.
Look out, Arisen! We're under attack!
Look here, you beast! Come and face me! Monster, watch out!
It's a deep game, Brian. Like, when it first hit early access, the tutorial for it took over an hour to play through. Like, it was crazy. Yeah.
Four-player co-op, huh?
Yep.
Make manifest your will. That's at last this world might.
Hold fast to your strength of will, Arisen One. Those who can be of aid to you will reveal themselves in time.
Thy will, thy soul, these are all the means thou hast to carve thy path anew. Yet your wicked schemes will avail you not, Watching One.
皆さんこんにちは。チーム忍者の安田です。ライズ・オブ・ザ・ローニンは自由な探索や幅広い戦闘を体験できるオープンワールドアクション RPG です。歴史上の人物たちと紡ぐ因縁によって物語が変化していきますので、ぜひ一人の浪人として皆様それぞれの幕末を体験してください。オープンワールドで描かれる幕末の世界をお楽しみください。本作の舞台の一つ、横浜です。19世紀幕末の時代、最初に国外に開かれた横浜では和と洋が入り混じった独特の街並みが広がっています。主人公は鍵縄を使って屋根の上に登ったり、装置アビキルを使って高所から滑空し上空を移動することも可能です。攻撃やガードを駆使しながら敵の攻撃を石火で弾いて体勢を崩すことも可能です。敵の武器と相性のいい流派を選ぶと戦いを有利に進めることができます。戦闘では日本刀や長槍以外にも海外からもたらされた短銃などさまざまな武器が使用できます。発明家である伊賀七と因縁を深めるとさまざまなからくり装置を入手できます。鳥火砲は伊賀七が作ったからくりで、現代の火炎放射器のような強力な遠隔武器です。鳥火砲や和洋折衷のアクションである銃剣など西洋の技術を生かした武器をうまく活用すれば強敵にも打ち勝つことができるので、ぜひマスターしてください。幕末を生きる人物たちと紡いだ因縁が物語に大きく影響します。ぜひライズ・オブ・ザ・浪人で一人の浪人として運命を切り開いてください。
So they said this was going to be about 40 minutes long, and We're at the 30-minute mark. We're like, we've got to be at least halfway through the deep dive of Rise of Ronin. I'm definitely curious to know what's going to happen after this, if they've got anything left for us.
I mean, if there's anything else, then it'd be something big, probably flat. You know, one of those one more thing reveal type deals.
Miles in the chat says Death Stranding 2 will be the end of State of Play.
Oh yeah, they did mention something about that, didn't they?
Yeah, that makes sense. I did a search for Legendary Tales VR on Twitter just to see, like,
it's good.
Yeah, I love the reactions from people. Just, even if I had VR, this looks like shit. It's like, oh god.
No, they so they hit early access on PC a while back, and it was great from the beginning. And then they kind of pulled back and said that they were going to rebuild it for Unreal Engine 5. But the last I heard about Legendary Tales is that they had kind of gotten stopped in their tracks trying to do that. Like, something ended up being more than they had anticipated, and they were having difficulty getting it into 5. And that was the last I heard about it. I had no idea they were developing it for PSVR 2 or anything. So it's exciting. People should be excited for that one.
Nice. This must be the Until Dawn remake, which is cool, I guess. I mean, these remakes of games that are one generation old always floor me a little bit, but I think there's an Until Dawn movie they're trying to pair this with.
Well, yeah, I've never played the original, so
it's good. It's fun in like a party setting, you know, trying to like decide what to do very quickly.
Maybe they'll decide to remake Rush of Blood because of it.
Now that would be phenomenal.
Here we go.
Yep. That's true.
Love Kojima's art style and art direction, man. It's just always so cool looking.
Now can we just give Metal Gear back to him and ask him to do PT? I mean, please.
For real. You're infected, bitch.
Welcome to Drawbridge, Sam, and to the GHV Magellan, our mobile base of operations. Come on, I'll help you get your bearings. This is the ship's armory. Here you can check your weapons and put them through their paces. These rooms over here belong to other members of the crew. They're pretty much the same as yours. And the shower's down at the end.
This is one hell of a ship you got here. Courtesy of the UCA, I'm guessing.
No. As I told you, Drawbridge is a civilian outfit. But we do have a generous patron with access to plenty of capital and tech.
Sounds like a UCA big shot.
Don't ask me. We've never met face to face. They value their privacy.
Seriously? No better than to believe that bullshit.
Why are the characters black and white?
Same deal as America.
Oh, there we go.
The people here are all
Yeah, they
spread
have
out,
stuff on them.
cut off from one another. We want you to help
looks
us
pretty
bring
impressive.
the world together.
Sam, would you mind if I joined you?
Humor him. His knowledge and experience will probably come in handy down the road.
Yes. Really, Sam? Your buttocks? What about shotgun? I prefer the driver's seat.
Sam, do you read me? You'll first need to access the Mexico side plate gate terminal. After we've confirmed network coverage, we can take the DHV Magellan and regroup at your position.
The problem is, not everybody wants to be part of the UCA.
That's not the plan, Sam. The UCA isn't looking to expand its borders. Just like with Mexico, they want to bring new regions into the network. Anyway, the DHV Magellan's here to back you up. As always, you'll be the one leading the way to expand the network.
What's your role in all this? You're the commander, huh?
That's right. These days I'm fragile in name only. You brought America together, helped it be reborn as the UCA. But I'm afraid that Death Stranding is far from over. Humanity is still in danger, still on the brink of extinction. Don't act like you don't see it. A lot of things changed after you went off on your own, especially within the UCA. Bridges no longer oversees the distribution network. They withdrew once things were up and running. So your friends and co-workers all went their separate ways. Within network coverage, there's no need to rely on human porters anymore. So after I closed up shop, I went and started a new group. One that handles work in regions outside the UCA. We decided to call ourselves Drawbridge.
With the support of the Chiral Network and APAS, humanity will be free from the need to move around. Bots are capable of handling deliveries.
He's alive.
He called himself a ghost, but
We found a way back from the beach just so he could kill us.
he said he came back to get revenge on you and me.
Hey, brother. Did you miss me? Yeah, I figured you'd pay this place a visit, seeing as how I've been distributing the fruits of this fine factory all over the continent. With guns and violence, the whole damn world could be yours. Same as it ever was. Oh. Looks like you decided to trade in that rope for a stick this go-round. Well, I suppose even a porter has to pull the trigger from time to time. Oh, what about you? Hey, buddy. Are you just another soulless little husk, huh?
Let go of me!
Oh.
Pathetic guitarist, where's the rest of your band?
Well, ain't that something?
Was it you, Higgs? Huh? Was it you that killed Lou?
You still don't know,
Spoiler
do you?
alert. Alright, that's kind of ridiculous.
Something he said. You don't know a goddamn thing about Lou.
All right, Sam. Let's see what we can find on Lou.
If you want answers, you're gonna have to find them yourself. But the ones you do find, well, that pain you nurse will only get worse. Sam the man in the dark about everything.
Don't forget, coming on this expedition was meant to help you find the strength to carry on. And you have. We all know you've got this. Now it's time to finish the journey, Sam. Please understand, Sam. We never meant to string you along.
That chrysalis, we found her inside. It was filled with a fluid that contained amino acids. One's identical in structure to the kind found in tar.
I'm sorry, there are amino acids in tar? As in proteins?
Of course. How else did you think that chiral creatures could emerge from it? Some have even theorized that the tar is a sort of primordial soup.
I was there. I saw her home. It was a hellhole.
You see, after you left Bridges, I decided to do a little digging. Now, according to them, BB-28 was flagged for disposal and subsequently incinerated 4 years ago, long before you and Lou first met.
Wow.
Well, I guess that explains what they meant by 2024 and beyond.
Yeah.
And now here
which
with
is
me
weird
today
because
is visionary game creator and founder of Kojima Productions.
Never mind.
Kojima-san. Hi. Welcome. Today, I'm excited to announce that together, as part of the PlayStation and Kojima Productions partnership, Hideo is going to take us on an exciting new adventure. One that I've been encouraging him to reinvent for years.
はい、全く新しいオリジナルの IP になります。新世代のアクションエスピオナージゲームです。準備を始めてますけども、デストランディング2の後に本格的に小島プロダクションで制作にかかります。ソニーさんとは、ほぼ30年にわたりエスピオナージものを一緒に育ててきたという強い経験もあります。またソニーさんは、ゲームだけではなく音楽も映画もされています。間違いなく強力なコラボレーションになるはずです。さらに2年後には僕の、ゲーム制作人生の40周年を迎えます。このタイトルが、僕の集大成の作品になると確信をしています。
A new action espionage game by Hideo Kojima. This is one of my favorite genres, one that I've been hoping you would revisit with a bold new vision. Can you share anything else about this new development?
ですね、まだ詳しくは言えませんけども、最先端のテクノロジーと、世界中の才能を集結して作る予定です。もちろんインタラクティブなゲームなんですけども、ルック、物語、テーマ、キャスト、演技、ファッション、サウンド、どれをとっても、同時に映画でもあるようなものです。本作で、映画とゲームの壁を越えたいと思っています。
We're all really excited about this project, and we will fully support you with the latest innovation Sony has to offer. More details to come.
Stay tuned.
Maybe that will be the VR game that Kojima's been talking about making for a decade.
Before we go, I
starts
have
flirting
one
with
final
Xbox.
announcement. State of Play will return February 6th with an extensive look at Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Square Enix will be sharing new gameplay details, along with exciting news you won't want to miss. We hope you enjoyed the show. See you soon!
So Kojima starts flirting with Xbox and they give him a fucking movie deal. How about that?
Pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I feel like that's always kind of the case, right? It's like, hey, you can go do your thing. This even happened like back with like Metal Gear Solid 2 on PS2. They're like, sure, you can bring a version of it to Xbox, but don't forget us. And they made sure that like everything else was PSVR 2, PlayStation 2 exclusive. Yeah. Wow, dude. Okay, I mean, okay. So I'm happy with that state of play. I think that was
me too.
that was pretty good overall. I think they had like a lot of big titles, a lot of like kind of smaller titles, a few good surprises. Dude, I think it's really easy for people to be like, oh, we knew about Metro because like it got leaked yesterday or whatever. Like, put that shit out of your mind, man. Like, we saw Metro. It is fucking, it is happening. It looks really good. And I mean, that alone, I think would have been enough for me to be excited about today's show. But this Legendary Tales game, you're getting me excited about it based on the limited amount you were able to tell me during the show.
Yeah, so Legendary Tales, again, this is a game that's been in early access on PC for a couple of years now. And it was great the moment it hit early access. I mean, there were some things that were lacking. Obviously, the tutorial was overcomplicated. They have remedied that by reworking the tutorial and making over half of it voluntary. You can just do it when you want. You don't have to do it like right at the front. Also, we felt like the enemy variety was a little bit lacking. When again, this was when it first hit early access, and I think they've updated it with more enemies and stuff too. But it's a role playing game up to 4 players co-op, and it kind of puts you in a tower, and you're fighting your way up through levels of the tower. And every level you get to has more difficult enemies and such. And the thing that really makes it good is it's got like a deep RPG style progression system to it. So there's your character has attributes like wisdom and strength, and it's got the full RPG progression system where your weapons and abilities and your character all have different aspects that can be upgraded as you go. And no, it's really good. And I think people, as long as the port turned out to be okay, I think people are going to really enjoy this game.
It's sort of the big question mark these days. Like, how is the port going to turn out? I'm just downloading a trailer for it right now. But here, I've actually got the Steam page up too. Yeah, I mean, you nailed it all. They're touting the RPG attribute system on the Steam page, the 4-player multiplayer, skill tree, magic, collectible RNG items, random number generation, physics, which I didn't really see in the trailer, but maybe one of those things that you just can't really tell until you played it. Oh, okay. I was, so here's my question was, when I went over the Steam page, the most recent, the recent reviews were all mixed, although, the overall, the reviews are very positive. And it's because people who are mad that there hasn't been an update in the last year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they kind of dropped off the face of the earth. Like I said, they didn't let a peep out that they were working on this. And people just kind of thought that this may be a title because they promised big things with this, even after they launched, and people were so happy with it. They were like, you haven't seen anything yet. It's going to get so much better. And then they just kind of went away. And I guess maybe some of the Steam player base was kind of starting to wonder if they were ever going to come back and update the game again. And now we see what they've been working on, what they've been doing for the last year plus, and that is getting the game ready for PSVR 2. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, which I wonder if that'll cause a little bit of friction with the PC gamers who are like, hey, like, we thought you were going to be updating the game over here, and instead said you've been working on a port for not us.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of how it goes, right? And I'm glad to see that this is what they've been doing, and they haven't been trying to destroy their game to get it to run on mobile standalone hardware. So no, this should be good, and I'm sure they'll pick back up with the PC development of it as well. I wonder if crossplay will be available, if PlayStation players can play with PC players right off the top, or if that's something that's coming down the road. But I can tell you right now that it is prepared with all of the features that PSVR 2 fans want: native 90 frames per second, without reprojection, adaptive triggers, eye track, dynamic foveated rendering. So, in case I haven't made it clear, I'm chatting with the developers right now.
Yeah, they're also in our chat. They just tipped 2,000 Warios, whatever W with the lines through it are. They said, "Wes, you know us, you know about us too well."
Yeah, thank you.
Urban Wolf Games, hit me up, dude. I was actually just trying, while the show was going on, I was looking for contact information for Urban Wolf Games. I was like, how do I get in touch with these guys? So
as soon as I saw the trailer, I started DMing. So, no.
Excellent. Good to see you here, Urban Wolf Games. Very excited about the game. Also, yeah, I love when these things get announced and it's like, oh, by the way, it's coming next week, which is like,
yeah,
shit, dude, we already had Dead Hook coming next week. We've got 2 or 3 other games coming next week as well. So next week is going to be kind of a banger week. Man, and you said there's a lot to this too. So hopefully we can get in early to have reviews ready for launch.
Crossplay with PCVR will be available at launch, and you can turn it off if you don't want to play with those jerks. You don't have to,
because they're all jerks. We know this.
That's right.
Nice.
Most of them.
Macho, the Real Estate Procrasting Game Cat, during the show with the level 2 membership, said, "We're here, boys. BR is here." I don't know what BR is.
Love BR. It's my favorite.
Oh, it's probably V. You got it. VR. It's one keyboard letter off. I'm a moron. What craziness? Nihilist Ryan the Game Feline in the chat says, after how good Ancient Dungeons was, I am super hyped for Legendary Tales. I mean, it's true. Ancient Dungeon, big 10 out of 10. So, yep. This obviously is something that like we just don't have this in VR, right? I mean, like these games with like these deep RPG mechanics and stuff, like it's, even if the gameplay itself, I mean, only because of what I'm looking at in the trailers here, looks a little bit, dungeon crawler-esque. Having all those different RPG abilities that you can level up, I think that adds a lot to it.
Yeah, that's really the 2 things that really stick out about this game is, one, the progression. It's got deep progression, especially for a VR game. And then 2, at least on PC, the production is great on it. Like, it's a beautiful looking and sounding game. It's got good physics, like the weapons have weight. No, it's solid, man. It really is.
And then of course we got the Metro trailer, which, I mean, just looked really, really good. I'm looking for the trailer right now just to see. I didn't see anything while it was playing, if it was official PSVR 2 footage or what we were looking at. But I don't know, man. Like, if you weren't, here's a trailer right here. Couldn't find it. Yeah, I mean, if you weren't excited for this before, then you should definitely be excited for it now. This looks fantastic. And I think that's kind of how I was, Wes, to be honest with you. Everyone's like, oh, cool, Metro VR. I was like, yeah, cool. I played one of the flat screen games a little bit, and it was all right. Didn't keep my attention enough to stick with it. But yeah, just watching this trailer, I was like, I think this is gonna hold my attention enough to stick with it.
Planet Schlorpian with the $2 US says, are Asgard's Wrath 2? It's a bit of a different game than Asgard's Wrath 2. Asgard's Wrath 2 is a bit more of a story-driven adventure, where this is a pretty cold and hard multiplayer RPG game. There's not a whole lot of story element to it. It's all about the gameplay. It's all about being in the world and progressing your character.
Yeah, let's go full screen with this trailer. Usually they kick it off right away with some with something on the screen saying captured on PS5. This is PSVR 2 footage. It's pretty cool. I'm with it being Vertigo Games, I'm going to guess that probably using the same engine that they used for Arizona Sunshine 2. So this is likely going to be reprojected. But Arizona looks pretty good. So
we've got a blog post too for Legendary Tales if we want to take a look at that.
Oh, we are totally going to go over there and do that. Oh, I always forget to take a look at the blog, PlayStation blog after these things.
Yeah, normally the chat telling us about it, right?
Dude, I'll tell you, and there's a ton of stories over there. Obviously, like if any of the stories from today's State of Play were interesting to you, any of the games, they basically detailed every single one over there. And I will tell you, I don't think I could have been any more upset after the Silent Hill short message trailer was over and it said nothing about VR. I was like, available today, awesome, free to play, what? No VR, what? And then the Judas trailer, it was like, here we got this Judas trailer, and I was like, okay, cool, what's the release date? Is there gonna be VR support? I mean, just absolutely nothing. I was like, you know what? I'd rather not see a new trailer than to get a new trailer with no new information.
Look, man, I feel like this was a good day for PlayStation. To be honest, I've been feeling pretty bad about the platform as a whole.
Yep.
Not just VR, but like just in general, because I see Xbox coming out with this new Kojima horror game that looks amazing. I see Hellblade 2 and how amazing that looks. And I don't really see anything to be excited about on the PlayStation end until now.
Right.
Now we look at these Silent Hill games. We see Death Stranding 2. We see Judas. And now there's something to look forward to for PlayStation gamers.
Before we forget, you mentioned Death Stranding 2. Death Stranding looked fantastic. I didn't play the first one. But I'll tell you, as that whole scene with the like electric guitar weapons, like
it was a bit weird.
It was a bit weird, but it was, I think, weird in the best possible way. Like I just love, like that just screamed like 1994 Japan anime to me or something. Like I was just like, I just loved the sensibility. Hideo Kojima just does not give a fuck. All right, January 31st, 2024. Legendary Tales lets you forge your RPG destiny on PSVR 2 later this year. Later this fucking month. Later this week. Like, later this year.
They've been sitting on this for a minute, I bet.
The headline should have said mere minutes away.
Right.
Let's see what this thing says. I got to blow this up a little bit. I got a brand new monitor today. I can actually like see shit now. Welcome, PlayStation players. This is, oh Jesus, I'm not going to screw your name up, sir. From
BJ.
This is BJ from Urban Wolf Games. Thank you, Wes. Here to share some exciting news. Yes, it's true. Legendary Tales is coming to PlayStation VR 2 later next week, and we're here to share with you some information about the game and its development. So, what kind of game is it? A dark fantasy RPG with medieval weapons, armor, dazzling magic, an RPG attribute system, skill trees, and dungeons. Not enough? Well, we've got crafting, potion making, randomly generated items, collectible items, and a quest-driven storyline. We spent a long time developing this, and we're so happy to be here. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the design philosophy that went into building this fantastic VR adventure. All right, so designed up for the ground up for multiplayer VR. When we first started working on Legendary Tales, we wanted to be a multiplayer VR experience from the get-go. I was obsessed with making players feel immersed in the world together, and it's been the driving force behind our entire development process. Every feature, every part of the gameplay was considered only for VR since the beginning. As examples, what if we can power bomb enemies? What if you can damage enemies with the crossguard of your sword? You can do this with your friends. You can do all this with your friends in multiplayer. It's a physics-based VR game. We want every hit to feel impactful. This was what led us to develop our hard-hitting parrying system. We're all about satisfying feedback and strive to make players feel the power of their strikes through the reaction of their enemies. All RPG gamers dream of forging and embodying their dream hero, and that's especially true of VR gamers. A basic RPG game has a class system including fighters, rogues, wizards, etc. But what if it wants to be a magic What if someone wants to be a magic fighter or fight with their bare hands? We don't want to be limited by a class system and designed skills and attributes to embrace play style freedom. So the question is, what do you want to be? VR is the perfect way to escape to fictional worlds. Legendary Tales is set in a dark fantasy world where monsters, magic, and exciting quests lurk around every corner. Every type of monster has its own fighting method and style you'll have to master to fight against them most effectively. Some monsters are stronger and some are craftier, with named monsters having their own fighting and movement patterns. Can you master them all? All right. They saved the best till the end, Wes, because this last one is about unique PSVR 2 features. They say, we've done our best to utilize PSVR 2's immersive features in Legendary Tales. The game supports 4K HDR, eye tracking, adaptive triggers, headset haptics, ultra-sharp dynamic foveated rendering, which is 2 to 2.4 times higher than the original resolution. All of this while keeping it running at a native 90 FPS. It wasn't easy, but we made it happen. We hope you enjoy it. That's all from us. I hope this news has piqued your interest. Remember, Legendary Tales is a challenging game and not for the faint of heart. If you want to take on the mantle of a legendary hero, be prepared to take on an arduous journey.
Nice.
I'm sold,
Later
man.
this year, Brian. Later this year.
Later this year. Sometime later this year. Dude, I'm sold. This is this sounds fantastic. And honestly, like I've sort of been bummed out recently when it's come to games. Like, we've gotten a lot of good games, but we've also gotten a lot of bad games, and I sort of have to, like, I just feel like we've been bombarded with a lot of bad ones here and there. And this is something that, like, I've really been looking for a game, Wes, that like pulls me back into it. That like is something that I can really like dig my teeth into. And, I've been playing Ultra Wings 2 on and off, and kind of just like grinding away, getting my new airports and getting the new planes and everything and doing the little missions. But it wasn't like, it's only pulling me back in because I just really want to get a review done. Not because I'm like, ooh, I need to play more Ultra Wings 2. It's a good game, but it's not the thing I want to sink my teeth into. And this sounds like something I can totally sink my teeth into. My guess is, and I'm sure, hopefully you can answer this for me, that I can, when my friends aren't around, and I say that because I don't have any, so you guys are like just never there. I'm assuming I can play this single player or with is drop in, drop out multiplayer.
I'm not sure if friends can drop in and drop out during a run or not. I never really tried that. But yes, you can absolutely play it single player. Although I will say, it's not easy. This is a difficult game. And if you're going in there by yourself, you'll probably succeed at leveling yourself a little bit, but I'm not sure how successful you'll be at progressing through the different levels of the tower.
Interesting.
Because it gets pretty tough. By the time you get on the second level, I mean, back when I played it, the second level was hard. The first level wasn't easy. But it's cool. What they say there is true. You get to pick what class of fighter that you want to be, if you want to be a mage or a warrior, whatever. And the way that kind of works is, each player has different categories of abilities that can be upgraded. And if you pick wizard, then you'll start with a couple of more XP in the magic category versus the strength, and the warrior would be vice versa. But it doesn't limit you. You can absolutely be a wizard who develops as a sword fighter, and you could be a warrior that develops magical abilities as well. They don't really pigeonhole you, but they kind of give you a leg up on certain stats depending upon which character class that you choose at the beginning.
Man.
Single player you can do. Multiplayer, drop in and drop out in real time is possible. So yeah, apparently so.
Good. Get them on the show. Tell them just to call in, and we'll just get them on here. We'll save a step so they don't have to DM you every time we have a question. Nice. And do you know if can I have, like, I'm assuming I can have like multiple fighters saved, right? So if I'm interested in magic, I'm interested in sword fighting, I'm interested in just punching my way through things. Like, I'm assuming, like, you're not gonna want to have one character who's good at all three things, right? Like, do you know if you can save multiple characters at once?
I will know shortly.
Yeah, well, that was sort of my my goal with that. Oh man, let's see what's up with the chat.
Oh well, there we go. There's a new post up on Steam now on the Steam page for it for the 1.0 release, and apparently there's more information in there for those who are curious.
Oh, fantastic!
Hold on,
so
I'll drop you the link.
So Steam players are not being left out in the cold, then, huh?
No, apparently not. Apparently they've been working on it there as well.
That's good.
A fairly sizable team on this, South Korean studio. Yeah, it's been in development for years.
All right, I'm gonna get to the Steam page, but I say we check out the. You want to check out the Metro blog post?
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's a lot on the Steam page too. Like it'd take us a show to get through all this.
All right, cool. Yeah, we don't want to spend the whole day on it. Cool. Well, then let's see. Metro Awakening is coming to PSVR 2. This is from Samar Lowe. I'm screwing up people's names left and right today. Associate Game Director of Vertigo Games says, "Hi, everyone." Hey, Sam. We couldn't be more excited to reveal our next project during today's State of Play. We're proud to say that with the support of Deep Silver for the last 2.5 years, we've been working to bring the post-apocalyptic world of Metro to PSVR 2 in 2024. The best video games take us out of the world by putting us in the boots of someone else. They let us experience the world through their eyes. The Metro series continually strives to achieve this, inspired by the internationally best-selling novels by Dmitry Glukhovsky, fingers crossed. Metro 2033, Metro Last Light, and Metro Exodus delivered immersive first-person experiences at release. These games put players in the heart of desperate battles for survival after nuclear Armageddon. Metro Awakening is an all-new Metro game made exclusively for VR and powered by the immersive features of the PSVR 2 and Sense controllers. It's an origin story set before the events of 2033 that both offers a whole new angle for Metro fans and a fantastic starting point for seasoned VR players ready to put on their gas mask. Set in 2028, which is only 4 years from now. Scary enough. It doesn't sound that far away. The all-new story is penned by the series creator. You play as Serdar, a doctor searching for his wife amongst the claustrophobic, irradiated metro tunnels of post-apocalyptic Moscow. Serdar ventures deeper into the metro. His courage and sanity will be tested by the supernatural forces he encounters, and it will set in motion the events that lead to his spiritual awakening as something else entirely. But how does all this feel in VR? True to the core of the series, Metro Awakening is an intense first-person adventure blending survival, stealth, and combat with a gripping story. This means you'll get to experience Metro's heart-pounding FPS gameplay in VR for the first time, fumbling for filters to protect you from the radiation, panicking as you frantically charge your flickering headlamp in the dark, and reloading your arsenal by hand as you battle the many threats in the depths of the tunnels. With the addition of adaptive triggers and headset haptics on PSVR 2, we were able to add tactile sensations to pulling our weapons triggers and getting hit by bullets. It's nuances like these that push the levels of immersion in VR further on a visceral level. We'll have a lot more Metro Awakening before it releases later in 2024, and we're honored to bring this beloved franchise to PSVR 2 for the first time. As the chat has pointed out earlier, it is not exclusive. We didn't assume, I don't think for even a second, that it would be. This is a little bit too big.
These screenshots, man, this shit looks good.
Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah, it's been, like I had mentioned at the beginning of the show, checking out the Quest 3 and seeing Asgard's Wrath and, being surprised how good it looks for a standalone headset. I think we're kind of like raising the standards for VR a little bit. With Quest 2, quietly be sunset over the next year or so. I think Quest 3 and PSVR 2 will be like the kind of the standards, and so I think that'll help all games start looking a little bit better.
Yeah, we talked about that when the Quest 3 headset dropped. This isn't just significant for metagamers only. It's significant for all of VR because the baseline is raising now. So even the ports over the next few years should become notably better because of the advancements in standalone. So you're absolutely right.
Living Legend with the Canadian $5 tip says, "Sup, Game Cats, when do you think we might get an Astrobot PSVR 2 announcement? Do you think new PSVR 2 announcements will be made at showcases or random?" It's a good question. I mean, we were sort of having that same conversation at the beginning of the show. State of Plays are supposed to be smaller events. They're not supposed to be these big grand showcases. But because they're smaller events focused on smaller games, these more niche audiences, that's exactly what PSVR 2 is. It's a more niche audience that usually is about smaller games for those niche audiences. So State of Plays is I guess, where I'd assume to see most PSVR 2 announcements. And I mean, that's where they announced Village. That's definitely where they announced RE4, right? These weren't at showcases, I don't believe.
I don't remember.
I don't know. They all kind of run together.
State of Plays. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. It'll probably be a little while before we get another one of these, a couple months at least. I do think we'll get more announcements in the interim. But as far as big first party titles, I would expect that to be a part of some kind of a showcase.
I do love that they just said they were like, "Hey, next week there's another State of Play just for Final Fantasy." I like that. I would like them to do more of these, and and if they're going to be focused on one game, great. Let us know ahead of time so we don't waste our time if it's not something we care about. But the more Sony talks, the better I feel about what they're doing. And I think this is something that everybody's been asking for. Sirens on my end. It's just a little bit more transparency, and so hopefully we're kicking off the new year with a little bit more of that. So.
Yeah, I hope so. We're heading into a new era in many ways for PlayStation. Obviously, Jim Ryan, I think, steps down any day now, and
a month left, I think.
Yeah, and the whole thing with Microsoft, that court case, that many people thought that Sony were intentionally tanking their lineups and their reveals because they wanted to appear weak in court for this antitrust suit with Microsoft. That's all done now. It's all in the past. So this year should be a markedly better year for PlayStation in general.
Yep, dude. I as far as I'm concerned, I feel like we walk away from these State of Plays very frequently disappointed. Walk away from showcases disappointed, and I'm not walking away from today's disappointed at all. An announcement of a what sounds like a phenomenal PSVR 2 game coming next week, something that I can really sink my teeth into, a bigger budget game, possibly Vertigo's attempt at AAA. This is where we want all VR developers to be heading, right? We've been watching all these different studios grow over the last few years, and we want each of them to get better and better, bigger. We always point to Vitruvius, starting with Mervils and then doing Shadow Legend, and now Arcanage. It's they're just, with each game, they're just getting bigger and better. It's just really fun to kind of watch this all happen, and really fingers crossed for Vertigo games. I talk a lot of shit about a lot of different studios, but it's only because I want them to do better. I hope the reason we haven't seen Aliens from Servios is because they're not ready to show it. They want it to be a really good game. I don't know if you saw the article about Fast Travel Games, and Fast Travel Games was interviewed, I forget by who, but it was just today or yesterday, the article went up, and I want to say Vampire the Masquerade sold 100,000 copies, something like that, which is pretty damn good for for VR. So things are improving throughout the industry.
Yeah, and that one specifically about to hit PC as well. Vampire the Masquerade.
Wait, was that wasn't on PC already?
No. It hit. It was PlayStation and Quest. No PC until like next month, and then it's coming to PC.
I missed that one. That's generally not the case. Usually,
PC's the redheaded stepchild. Now I know that a lot of people like to talk shit on PlayStation VR, but they're the second platform, not the third. PC's the third.
Well, it's still easier to get your game out on Steam than it is to get it out on PlayStation.
Oh yeah, I could put a game out on Steam for sure.
Yeah. I would play your game, Wes.
My game would be awesome, by the way, and it will be one day. Multiple saves confirmed for Legendary Tales.
Excellent. Cool. Fox Die Infected with the €5 says state of play was pretty good for Sony standards. Any chance for Into the Radius 1 or 2 at some point? What was the deal with Into the Radius? I know that there was some of these games were funded by Oculus Studios, and so I don't know.
Wasn't one of them.
That wasn't one. Okay.
Yeah. Into the Radius wasn't one of them. That game is published by EA, surprisingly enough. I asked them, about PlayStation VR 2 support for Into the Radius 1 before 2 was announced. And I got the same line from them that most developers give you, is like, this is something that we would like to do at some point. Honestly, I would be surprised if they didn't support PSVR 2 for their next title, but you never know. Only time will tell. It is a higher end VR game. Like, it's one of these that was developed for PC and then retrofitted to Quest. Beautiful on Quest, by the way. But I think that the sequel will very much be the same way. I think it'll hit Steam first, and then there's a good possibility that we see it hit PlayStation VR 2 just because it is a higher end VR game. It's meant to push the limits and boundaries of what's possible, and the fact that we have so much processing power in PS5 really bodes well with us for that one, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, Wes, give me a rating out of 10 for this state of play.
8.
Yeah,
8 out of 10. Yeah.
That works for me.
I'm happy with it. Yeah,
8's pretty good. I really enjoyed seeing Silent Hill. I enjoyed seeing it, despite the fact that I'm irritated we didn't get news about Judas, like in terms of like release date, or I'm not so secretly hoping we get VR support for it, but I don't think that's actually happening. I want them to say it. These are games that I'm just glad to have seen and seen more of. So the new Silent Hill game looks really cool, but I'm like super concerned now that they said it's free to play and out today.
Well, if you'll remember when they announced that, they announced like 3 or 4 different Silent Hill games at the same time. And one of them, which I think is this one, was supposed to be some kind of revolutionary new type of gaming experience where people can interact with it through their mobile devices. And it's some kind of like an unfolding story over time sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that there's different ways to participate with it. I'm thinking that might be what this is. And that's why it's free to play, is because it's not just going to be on PlayStation, but it's going to be on just like all devices.
Yeah, they threw me off with Ascension, which was the show that you watched and made choices. Like,
well, maybe that's what I'm thinking of then. Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
It might be, but again, they introduced like 6 different Silent Hills all at once, and so they're all jumbled up in my head too. So Ascension threw me off, so it made me not know the difference between all of them. Yeah. Yep, I'm good.
Chat's corrected me. That's a different thing that's already out. So yeah. So I don't know then. It's a little weird then. You're right. If this is like a regular Silent Hill game that's just free, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. Let's do the rest of these tips, and then we'll do some 20 questions. We'll get out of here.
Is it my turn or your turn on that one?
That's a good question. AJ picked Monday.
On track, Ryan.
AJ picked Monday. Yeah, I know, right? It's difficult. Here, do me a favor. Do you have access to the recent tips? There's 2 There's a membership and an actual paid tip. If you have access to those,
I can get
read them up,
that.
and I'll pick a game.
So Violator, the Game Cat Metal Messiah. What's up, Violator? Member for 10 months, level 2 membership. Says, great show, guys. Thumbs up, as always. Thank you, Violator.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for showing up. Thanks for showing up to the 2022 show the other night, too, as well.
Oh, how was it? How was the 14-hour 2022 show or 2023 show?
Yeah, it was awesome, man. It actually went really well. It wasn't like normally going through a long show like that is difficult and taxing, and by the time you get to the end of it, you're just dead. But we paced this one out pretty well, man. We had 3 guests, each of them around 2 hours in length. So we went for a couple of hours, we stopped for a couple of hours, and went for a couple of hours, stopped for a couple of hours. And it went really quickly. It didn't seem like 14 hours. It seemed a little more like 6 or 7 hours. Like it went pretty quick, had good turnout, went till 5 a.m. in the morning, and pretty much kept 100 in chat pretty much the whole time. I mean, we have more than that at the peak, but that's where we kind of that was our baseline that we stayed around the whole time. And no, it was good. We've had good reception to it. Still tons of games being given away as we're holding a drawing. So games like Red Matter 2, Vertigo 2, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners 2, Hubris, most of the big awesome releases on PSVR 2 are up for grabs. So if anybody wants to win those keys, we're giving away a $30 PSN key. Just go watch the 2023 show and see how you can be entered to win. But no, Brian, it went well. I'm pretty happy with it. Glad to have it behind me now.
It's awesome. Yeah, guys, make sure you go subscribe to Wes over at Virtual Strangers. Click the link in the description below. Lots of good stuff happening over there. If there's just not enough content for you and you need a way to fill the next 14 hours of your life, they have you covered for sure. Cool. And thank you for having me on, man. Like I didn't get a chance to actually watch the show, but thank you for having me on. It was a lot of fun to go over there and talk about the highlights of PSVR 2 for the last year.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. And for anybody that's interested, Brian is in the part 2 because Brian talks with us about the PSVR Game of the Year. The Game of the Year stuff's always at the end. So Brian is in the part 2. But no, thanks for coming on. It was probably the best segment. I don't want to throw my other guests under the bus, but
no, it's okay. They're not watching.
That one went pretty well. And it was really enjoyable conversation, and it was fun. But we had other guests on. We had Gamertag VR on. We had Frank on. Frank came on at the last minute, like the day before. Frank decided that he would join us, so we did a segment with Frank as well. It was pretty cool.
Nice. What was the Frank segment about?
We did horror games. I know you're probably upset we did the horror game with Brian or with Frank, but we did a horror games with him.
I understand.
And
okay. I can't be there for the whole show.
Right, exactly. So we did horror games with him, and I want to say maybe innovative gameplay that we did with him.
Nice.
Yeah, that's right. We did that. We did horror game and innovative gameplay with Frank.
Cool. Very cool. All right, Wes, I've got a game picked out. Everybody in the chat, make sure you help Wes out. These are never. It always seems so much easier when you're watching at home.
Hold on, Brian. Hold on.
Yeah.
Living L393. Living
Legend?
The 390 themed legend. Okay, thank you. I didn't see that until you said that. Thank you. Living Legend with the $5 Canadian says, I was gutted to hear of Toys for Bob layoffs. They remade some of my favorite games from my childhood with Spyro Reignited Trilogy and, of course, Crash 4.
Yeah, well, they just made that Crash Team Racing nitro-fueled reboot. If they just given us VR support, they wouldn't have had to lay anyone off. They would have sold.
That's not true, man.
7
Everybody's
more
getting
copies.
laid off.
No, I know.
Have you noticed that like everyone is getting laid off now? Like for some weird reason?
It's scary. It's super scary. Like everyone's getting laid off. Everybody, Embracer Group just keeps shutting down studios and laying people off. And I think Square just announced they're laying people off. I can't even keep up with it all. Because every day it's another studio that's just like People are just losing their jobs left and right, and I mean, I don't know what it's going to take. I don't even honestly know what the reasons are, right? Are like, is the thing for me, Wes, is that like for quite a while I thought that like the power of the platforms was getting the best of people, right? And being like, hey, AAA, keep every generation AAA means spending this many more millions of dollars than it meant last generation, right, on your game. And if sales aren't reflective of those things, and but you're a AAA studio and you feel like you have to be spending this much money, and you have to be, your games have to look this good, and it has to have this much content. They have to be 40 hours long, and I feel like there's all these requirements that we think of about video games, and I think we need to reevaluate everything when it comes to gaming. And I think all of these studios have to start realizing and working within their means. And saying, hey, like we are not maybe capable of being a AAA studio anymore, and our new game we're going to sell for $40, and our budget is way smaller, and this and that, and I know that's probably being very reductive as somebody who doesn't run a development team, that doesn't have to work with a publisher, that doesn't know the ins and outs of these things, but I think that is one small element of it, and I think for our industry to succeed and to keep moving forward, it kills me every single time I see a really awesome looking trailer, and then I see comments from people being like, oh, this looks like a game that could run on PS3. Like, how fucking, like, seriously? Like, are we that hard to impress now? Like, I would be fine. I would be fine getting PlayStation 2 games. Like, PlayStation 2 games still impress me to this day. So I don't know. I think we all just need to chill a little bit.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that we're in an interesting place now where, for the first time, probably since PS2, games are actually changing fundamentally in terms of what they are. Like, for the longest time, generations only meant better graphics and sound, but now we're starting with the technology, not just VR, but technology in general, changing. The games themselves are starting to change, and with that kind of new immersiveness and richness to the experience, maybe we don't need every game to be 40 hours anymore. Maybe a nice 20-hour adventure that's like super immersive is fine, right? Plus we have to consider the fact that the prices of these games haven't changed all that much since the Super Nintendo days. Like, right. Games were $60 back then. They're $70 now, but $60, like $1995 is like $90 today. Yeah. So we have to consider that as well.
In bigger games, it's funny because I was actually going through an old catalog. In like games like Final Fantasy III were like $80 or $90 back in the day. Like those bigger ones with like the that use more memory for each on the cart. Like, they were more expensive than the games that we're getting now. Although I'm not going to lie, I'd rather play those games than the games we're getting now.
True that.
And then Violator, the game Cat Metal Messiah with the $5 tip says, I thought the Strangers show was great.
Hell yeah, brother. It was a good show, objectively speaking.
I'm a big fan of the hosts. You guys do a great job over there. It was just so nice hanging out with Eric and Roots and you, and like, not having to run a show. You guys are, I can feel the vibe between you guys. Like, you can tell you guys do this all the time, and like, you just have a good flow going over there. And it was just nice being part of it. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right, guys, here we go. We're going to do this 20 questions. Remember, this is not easy. So help Wes out in the comments with good suggestions of games, good questions to ask, and good suggestions of possible games based on the answers that I give. 20 yes or no questions, only 6 minutes. On your mark, get Des. Go.
Has this game been announced for or released on PlayStation VR 2?
Yes.
Has this game been released on PlayStation VR 2?
Yes.
So it's a game that's out. Has this game been released on PlayStation VR 1?
No. I feel like you could have done that in 2 questions.
Maybe. No, actually, no. I don't think I could have done that in 2, because I was asking specific things each time.
Okay.
But all right. So not on PSVR 1. It is out. It is on PSVR 2. Is it on any other platforms?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay. So it is on other platforms. Is it an adaptation or port of a flat game?
No. That's 5.
All right. VR specific. PlayStation VR 2, but also a multi-platform game. Was it? Is it a shooter? Shooting guns?
I mean, you shoot guns. I wouldn't call it a shooter, not exclusively, at least.
Okay, so you do shoot guns, but not a shooter. All right, so that kind of throws me off from where it was going. Is it a horror game?
I'm going to say no on horror, meaning scary, but aesthetically, maybe.
Yes, there's maybe some scary stuff in it, but not exactly horror. Okay, so some guns, some little scariness to it. I feel like I should get this pretty easy. I feel like it should be coming to me now, but yeah, maybe zombies, but is there melee attacks in it as well? I would assume then?
Yes.
All right, so we've got some melee, we've got some shooting. It's not a horror game per se, but some scariness to it at least. No, Cosmo Dread's definitely a horror game.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, again, I wouldn't even say scariness, just like aesthetically. You might say,
okay,
this belongs in horror, maybe, but I wouldn't call it scary in the slightest.
Is it multiplayer?
Jesus Christ, why don't I know this? No. Oh, yes, but I'm not familiar with the multiplayer aspect of this, but it does have multiplayer.
Oh wow, okay, that's weird. So there is multiplayer, but you haven't played it. That's fucking odd.
Hey, on Monday's show, AJ picked a game that neither him or I played. So like this is a step already a step in a better direction than we had on Monday.
Okay. All right. Is it cartoony?
No.
All right, so Looper, you're saying vampire. I wouldn't consider vampire. I mean, I don't think there's any guns in vampire. I mean, there's that crossbow thing, but that's not a gun. That's a bow. I specifically said shooting guns, so I don't think it's vampire, unless there's just guns later in vampire that I didn't get to yet. Where are we at? It can't be Ghostbusters because that's very clearly multiplayer. I don't know, man. So it's not cartoony. You said that. Is it a roguelike? That's a good question.
It can be, yeah.
It can be.
Let's just go with yes.
Yes. All right. So roguelike shooter. Is it good, Brian?
I would say, yeah, it's good.
Okay, it's a good game. So it's not Desperate Vladivostok. Oh, that never even came to PlayStation VR 2. What am I talking about?
Did it never make it? Jesus Christ.
Roguelike, somewhat with shooter, somewhat with multi. Oh, that's weird, man. It's kind of. Oh no, Foglands is not good, guys. It can't be Foglands. Yeah, I mean, I suppose is it developed by Skydance Interactive, Brian?
No, sir. No, it is not.
Yeah, so it's not Saints and Sinners. Red Matter 2, I don't think there's any guns in Red Matter 2. Light Brigade? Yeah, possibly. Is there... Light Brigade's totally just a shooter, though, isn't it? I don't think... Can you hit people? Hell Sweeper. Yeah, it could be Hell Sweeper. Yeah, it could be Hell Sweeper. Was this game published by Vertigo Games?
It was.
It was. Okay, I think we've got it, guys. Was it really blurry when it launched?
It was. That's 15.
Yeah. Is this game Hell Sweeper VR, Brian?
Wes. Supporting 2 players online, coming out September 21st, 2023. This is Hell Sweeper VR. Indeed.
Good call. Yeah. Thank you, whoever that was. Looper, probably.
There was one right before Looper. I think it was Foxdie Infected.
Yeah. There we go. Good call, guys. You nailed it.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what the weird thing is, Brian? I haven't played multiplayer in this game either, which is one of the most highly anticipated launches of the year for me.
Yeah.
And then it launched in such a state on PlayStation VR 2 that it killed all the enthusiasm that I had for it. And I still haven't really put any time to it. Just a little bit to check it out. But I really would have thought that this would have been like one of the top games in my rotation at this point. Yeah. And it just hasn't been.
Nope. No, I mean, you you guys know me. I definitely, I'm tiring of roguelites, but thankfully we got a couple of really good ones that made me like kind of fall back in love with the genre. This kind of took the whole Sirento, its kind of lack of single player campaign and said, hey, we can make a roguelite out of this formula and bring it to put it into this game. And it seems like all the pieces are there. When I actually I spent some time playing Hellsweeper and I really loved it, but it's just, like you said, it's just blurry. It's like, this is like inexcusably blurry at launch. And now they've fixed it enough to it's like, just kind of looks okay. I'm just going to wait till the next patch though, because their next patch is supposedly coming soon, definitely in Q1. And hopefully that'll get up to like PC VR standards, because as you've told us, Wes, it looks pretty damn good on PC VR.
It does look good on PC VR. This is true.
So be patient if you haven't played it yet. It is a really good game. Just wait until that patch, and then we reward them for their efforts.
Yeah, and they're adding more content to the game as well. Like I think they just put a new boss in not that long ago, and some new stuff. So
I like it.
Certainly, the book is not written on Hellsweeper yet.
All right, man. So I think that wraps up another Wes Day here. Thank you for being here with me, Wes, and thank you everybody for hanging out and watching State of Play with us. Really feel like that was a good episode, and part of me actually wants to go download that Silent Hill game and see what the fuck is going on. Free to play, you guys. So, but thank you to everybody who hung out. Thanks to everybody who helps the channel run. Rypop for getting this up on podcast services of your choice. We got Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry, who puts timestamps into the show after the fact. We've got everyone who supports the channel financially, not just here by being a member, but over on patreon.com/withoutparolegames. If you tip during the show, that helps so very much. Thank you very much. But if you just hung out and shot the shit with everybody and kept us entertained while we try to keep you entertained, that is awesome as well. But you know what? There's more people that sit back and watch the show and don't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there, and we love you just as much. Happy Wednesday, Wes.
Happy Wednesday, Brian. Happy Wednesday, cats. See you soon.
Silver Nexus with the level 3 membership says, take care, be merry, and game on, Game Cats. Hell yeah.
Thank you, Silver Nexus.
Yep.
Metro is available for wish lists, says Albert.
Ooh. Do you wish list things?
Hang out with Albert. I do. Actually, we make a ritual of it on Virtual Strangers. As we sign off every week, we have a segment where we ask everyone that's watching to come with us as we all go and support the developers by wish listing a game. So we wish list at least one every week.
That's so good of you. I don't like showing my cards. So I'm like, my apologies to the developers that I'm not supporting, but I'm like, I don't want you knowing if I'm interested in this or not. So like, I was like, you'll get my money on day one if it turns out to be good. I was like, but I'm
Brian's
not letting you
playing
know
hard to
that I
get.
want it until I know if it's worth my money or not.
Well, I don't know how it works on the PlayStation Store, but like the other stores, what kind of wish list you get's a pretty big part of the algorithm that determines where your placement is on the store page and how much they push your game out to people who are just browsing and shopping. Now, I'm sure it's not like that on the PlayStation Store because the PlayStation Store is pretty bare bones and sucks. But
yeah, sucks is a good word for it.
Yeah, like there is no like store page. There's a catalog. There's a catalog of games for you to scroll through.
It's about the extent of it. Well, you know what? Sometimes I ask you questions, very simple questions, and I expect you to be like, no, or yeah, sometimes. And then I get an answer like that. And I'm like, God damn, I learn something new all the time. Everybody, have a wonderful night. We'll see you soon. We love you all.